All right, pleasant good morning. John Walk, Dan Morgan, Lone Star Christian Sports Network. We're here Friday, TAPPSCON, day 3, about 2 hours from wrapping everything up. And we're joined by Galveston O'Connell, athletic director, boys basketball coach. Is there anything else you're
Girls
doing at
basketball
O'Connell
coach.
that I don't know about
Yeah,
yet?
I've been coaching the girls for last few
I'm
years as
sorry.
well. So,
I zoned out there. I was thinking about
did track.
going someplace else, and I totally forgot about the girls' side.
Yeah, also did track as well. So yeah, I'm in the process of trying to get some people take a couple of those off my hands. So
Well, and then you have just, probably the latest, biggest news is that you've been elected to be the 2A representative on TAPS's athletic executive committee.
yes, sir. Yes, this is actually I was actually elected. I guess when we did elections back in 2018, 2019. But I was a part of that class that when COVID hit,
Mm-hmm.
and we ended up serving another term because just due to the situation, we didn't do another election at that time. So I ran again 2 years ago and was blessed enough to be reelected then. And
So you've had this continuing role, and I've just missed it.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
this isn't the first one. I'm actually one of the. This cycle, I was one of two people who were reelected from the last
Okay.
AEC. So.
What is the, for a lot of people that don't know, what function does AEC serve?
AEC, we serve as a committee to help advise on any issues pertaining to athletics, from district alignment to playoff brackets, anything that warrants input from coaches and representatives from each classification, and when certain issues are not issues but items that need to be discussed, we'll make recommendations, and everything is ultimately approved by the executive board. But anything pertaining to athletics, if there are items that need to be discussed and decisions to be made and recommendations that are needed, we'll make recommendations on what we think should be done on certain topics, and they go to the executive board for approval at that point. Yes.
Been a fun process, challenging? I mean, how would you describe how
It's
that's been for you?
it's actually a fun process. I've been a member, as a coach of TAPS for years. I mean, 20 plus years now. So it's really great to be on a committee. The TAPS administration does a great job with all of the activities, on the athletic side and the fine arts side. So I know they depend on input and feedback from a lot of the member schools and member coaches, and so if we as an AEC could help represent and bring some of those, topics to the table that help TAPS, continue to grow and be better. I'm happy to do that. TAPS is a great organization, and so any input that I can have to be even just a small part of helping that, I'm very excited about that. So it is a fun process to be a part of it.
So, Coach, tell us about how things are going on the island. How are things looking for O'Connell this year?
Looking good. We're trying to keep the island floating down there. So that's what I always tell people. We're trying to keep it floating. But things are looking good. We just wrapped up a pretty good year from an athletic standpoint. Our softball team, as far as spring sports, our softball team, again, made it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, we, lost in the first round to Conroe Covenant. But they've been a mainstay in the playoffs, either as district champion or district runner-up out of our district. Boys basketball, we had another great season and made it to the state tournament. Volleyball did a great job this year. I had a new volleyball coach come in. He's got a ton of experience, was a Division I athlete at Stephen F. Austin, and she did an outstanding job with the program. So if there was any 1 year turnaround with a program within our school that deserves some recognition, she did a great job with that volleyball program. So things are looking up for us. We're getting started with our off-season programs right now. We have a summer-long strength and conditioning camp that my strength and conditioning coach runs 3 days a week, and so we've highly encouraged all of our athletes to get in there, and the work starts now. If we want to be successful and continue to grow as an athletic program, we have to encourage these athletes to, not just sit at home on the couch, play PlayStation, watch TV all day. use your time productively. We understand a lot of our kids have summer jobs, and we encourage that. That's great. So those aren't the ones that we're talking to. But the saying that I've always told all of our kids is, if there's open gym or there's weight room going on at the time that you're sitting home doing nothing, that's the time you need to get up and head over to get your workouts in. So things are looking very good for us.
You all at the beginning of last year kind of had the curtail football in the middle of the season. How are you setting up? You got a little bit of a new district. You got a 4-team district. How's that process going to get ready for the 24 season?
Yeah, we were very disappointed that we couldn't finish the full season last year. It was a numbers issue. We started, and you're kind of seeing that more and more around some of the smaller schools and TAPPS from a football standpoint. But we started the season with 11 guys, and then we lost a couple. We ended up losing 3 due to injury. And trying to finish out a season with 8 healthy bodies, that just became too much of a risk for the athletes, and we didn't want to put them in that situation. So we had a good plan in place. My football coach, this was his second year with us, and basically what we did, we have a lot of kids that are actually they're athletes, but at a 2A school our size where kids have that opportunity to even play sports that they haven't before, we'll have some kids that want to play football or excited about playing, but they don't have the experience. And so what we ended up doing once we finished the season and decided to hang it up last year, we didn't just hang up everything. My coach continued for the entire football season to come at those same times every day for practices, and all of the kids that were playing and plan on playing next year, they continued to come to practices. And basically what they did is there were certain days that my coach had chalk talk sessions. They just got together in the film room. They watched film. They went to watch other games on Friday nights so these kids could actually learn the game. And so he spent a lot of time doing chalk talk, teaching them the fundamentals of 6-man football. Then he had days that we'd be out on the field, no pads, but we're just learning how to do techniques, run routes, and just things of that nature. So we had a good plan in place. We brought all of our parents in when we got to the point to where it became dangerous to continue. And we're blessed enough that all of our parents were 100% on board with that plan. They saw the vision that we had and what the end goal was. And the football parents made sure that their kids continued to attend for the rest of the season. And so he's getting started this summer with some programs. And it's looked good so far. The test was because, he does his workouts on Saturday mornings. He's there at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so if we can see that kids are actually getting up during the summer at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, we know that they're dedicated. And he's had some kids that have been showing up. So we feel like we're going in the right direction.
Do you have what kind of numbers do you have right now?
Right now, I would say we're probably looking at 12.
Okay.
And that's not including any incoming freshmen that we may get. He has my football coach. He would love to have 12 because he's at least I can go 6-on-6 in practice and have
absolutely.
an offense and a defense. Yeah. So 12 would be a great number for us. If we can balloon that to to even just 15, that would be excellent. But if we could at least get 12 guys out there and build from there, we'll be in good shape. It's just going to be a matter of just teaching them and getting them prepared to go next season.
You guys got a tough district.
We do.
You got Divine Savior, which is improving.
Yes.
Brazosport's always steady, and Baytown's been a power, but
yeah.
I think did I hear that, or did I see that Coach Anderson may not be in that role anymore?
Yeah, Coach Anderson has stepped down, and I know Coach Anderson very well. When I was at Baytown, I brought him on board when I was still there. Great guy. He did phenomenal things with that program for years, and even the years that they weren't winning state, they were contending.
Sure.
But he had the opportunity to coach both of his sons, and the youngest one was a senior this year, graduated, and he's going to be playing football. I forget the name of the school, but he's going to be playing football up in Indiana at a small school in Indiana. So, I talked to him because Coach Anderson also was the baseball coach, and we're in the same district. So we talked a lot, and, he said he was – hanging it up this year so he can, have those weekends to go watch his boy play football.
Absolutely. Family first, yeah.
Yeah, but I told him I made a bet with him. I was going to say how I wanted to bet him and see how long it was going to be before they called him to see if they can get him to come back. So,
still have plans for your early season volleyball tournament? You always do a really good job with that, by the way.
I appreciate that.
No, seriously.
I appreciate that. And I've always appreciated you guys coming down to cover when you can. Yeah, the tournament is full, and I have a waiting list again as usual.
I love that you have, and they've been there a couple of years. Poolville. Yeah,
yes.
Poolville, I get around, so I know it. But, but if somebody were to walk in the gym, they go, who is Poolville? I know exactly where Poolville is on the road between Bridgeport and Weatherford.
Right, right. And the first year that they came, I didn't really know where they were either. I had to look it up on the map. But the coach is, she's really great person, and so they'll be back this year. They've won it a couple of years, and we've actually got a couple of new teams coming. We've got let's see. Well, we had a couple of teams that had to end up pulling out because the way the calendar fell, and we always host our tournament on that second weekend after you can start the two-a-days,
Right.
and because of where the calendar fell, there were some of the schools that had school functions going on to where they weren't going to be able to come. So some of the ones that have been coming for years, like Austin Hill Country, Tyler Grace, they're not going to be able to make it back this year. But Poetry Christian out of Terrell, they're going to be coming down. We picked up another school that was in Poolville's district. I can't remember which one it is. I wish I could remember all 16 of them off the top of my head.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know that I know where I don't know if I can quote 1A UIL districts off the top of my
head. Right. But yeah, we filled it up again pretty quickly. When those schools, had to drop, I had teams that I called and they were ready to jump in and take them. So they, and the teams that are not able to come back, they were always one of the best teams there that made it very competitive. But it's always going to be a real competitive tournament, and we have a lot of fun with it. And I've always told people it's not a hard sell to get people to come spend a weekend in Galveston in August before school starts.
Just book the hotels early.
That's it.
A whole lot easier
get them
than,
early.
A whole lot easier than getting them to come to Baytown and spend the
weekend.
weekend.
I found that. I found that out, and when I was at Baytown and we did this tournament, we didn't have a big problem filling it up, but when word got around back in 2017 that I had left Baytown and was going to Galveston, obviously the first year we didn't do the tournament, but I had plans to do one the following year. But before I could even announce it, I had people giving me phone calls from the last tournament. Hey, are you going to do a tournament in Galveston now? So we love to come to Galveston. So that's our advantage. It's not a hard sell for me to get you to come spend a weekend on the beach in August. So.
All right. Anything we're missing? Any big news that you got, or I mean?
No, nothing really. Too new. I'm fortunate to be able to keep all of my coaches in place for the following year. This is one of the few years I haven't had to replace the coach. I've been blessed with a really good coaching staff. Majority of my coaches are stipend coaches. Obviously a lot of the small TAP schools, have that same deal.
Sure.
And, there were about maybe 2 to 3 years in a row that, not because they wanted to, but full-time jobs got in the way, hours changed, and they had to tell me they couldn't come back. So at the end of every year, I kind of pray that I don't have to go through an interview process for a new coach again. So, but yeah, all of my coaches will be back. We're fortunate that my volleyball coach, she actually also works at the school full-time. So I don't have to worry about her right now calling me and telling me that she won't be able to come back the following year. So my football coach is ready to go. So yeah, we'll get out there and put the work in and, try to get the best that we can out of these kids like we always do. And, hopefully we'll be, standing winning a couple of titles at the end again.
And the bottom line at the end of the day, it's about, preparing kids for life.
Absolutely.
And you use athletics as a piece to do that in that character development. And
that's exactly what we do.
But if you can develop that character and have fun. Doing it, and even your girls team had a tough year, but
they did.
But I think I saw you twice, and you grew. I could see on the court early on. You had that one game, maybe it might have been Allen, and just really. But then later on, I think I saw you twice, and you could see that development there. So
yeah, and that was the thing with the girls. I mean, they were young. We lost a couple of pretty decent seniors last year, and the girls side of our district was not easy. I mean, the state champion came out of our district, and so we have to see teams like Conroe Covenant twice and Allen, who was in the state championship game last year. But that's the one thing about the girls team is that every time they got on the court, there was something that they got better at, and that's the way you build. And it's going to teach them lessons for life. There was never a day that they got down on themselves. I mean, sure, as a teenager you want to compete, and it gets I'm sure I was in their shoes, teenager once. You don't like to lose, it's frustrating, but what are we teaching you in the long run? You know, they're sticking with it, they're persevering. And so when you see things like that, it's like, okay, we're teaching you in life that when things get tough in the real world, you're not just gonna fold and and quit. You're gonna stick it in at that job that might not be so easy all the time. You'll stick it in with family when times get tough. So those are the kind of things you want to see. And I was asked once, how do we measure how successful the program is, and I've always said those kids, they graduate. When I see them in 3 or 4 years and see how well they're doing, that's how we measure how successful we've been. Not by the trophies in the trophy case.
All right. Well, very good, Coach Martin. Really appreciate you taking time, waiting for it, being patient. We got Brian and Coach Ibarra, and appreciate your friendship and appreciate your support of what Dan and I and Dave do, and what we try to contribute to the overall scene. So
absolutely. I'll always wait for you guys. No worries about that. And I'll get you guys information on our tournament so you can see what teams we have.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as we get it, we'll do our best to tweet it. Put
yeah,
it
absolutely. If y'all get a chance to come down to the island, we're always happy to see you. So.
All right, very good.
All right.
Again, Derek Martin, Galveston O'Connell.
Thank you.